Hey everyone, in today's video, we'll be learning how to read analog values with Arduino. In our previous lesson, we discussed the concepts of analog and digital information. We explored how analog information represents continuous signals, like varying voltages between 0 and 5 volts, while digital information is represented in binary form, consisting of zeros and ones. In this lesson, we will use a potentiometer to generate analog information, which will be converted into digital information using Arduino's analog to digital converter. We'll then process this digital input to understand how Arduino handles and interprets the signals from the potentiometer. You can now see different LEDs lighting up on the screen based on the values read from the potentiometer. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to perform this exercise on your own. We previously discussed how to use the potentiometer. We connect one terminal of the potentiometer to 5 volts and the other leg to the ground. The middle leg provides an output that varies between 0 and 5 volts, depending on the position of the knob. This output allows us to read a continuous range of analog values using Arduino. Now, let's start the tutorial using Tinkercad. First, we add the Arduino board to the workspace. Next, we'll include a breadboard to help us set up the circuit. The breadboard will allow us to make connections between the Arduino, potentiometer, and any other components we need for this project. Then we find the potentiometer from the Components menu and place it in an appropriate location on the breadboard. Ensure it is positioned where you can easily connect it to the Arduino and other components later. Once the potentiometer is in place, we can proceed to make the necessary connections to the Arduino. Initially, we connect the 5-volt power supply to the left terminal of the potentiometer. This provides the necessary voltage for the potentiometer to function properly. Next, we connect the ground wire to the right terminal of the potentiometer. Now, we can obtain an output from it. We connect the E0 pin to the middle terminal of the potentiometer. This allows us to read the varying voltage between 0 and 5 volts. Using red for the power line and black for the ground will make the circuit easier to follow and troubleshoot. By organizing the color of the wires according to voltage and ground connections, we can create a clearer and more understandable circuit setup. After completing the circuit design, we can move on to reviewing the code section. We define a variable named input value of type integer and assign it an initial value of 0. This variable will store the digital value that we read from the potentiometer later in the program. In the setup section, we use the pin mode command to specify that the E0 pin will be used as an input. This allows the Arduino to read the analog values from the potentiometer. To display the information on the serial monitor, we use the serial begin command to set the communication speed to 9600 baud. This allows us to observe the information being read from the potentiometer on the serial monitor. In the loop section, we write the code input value equals analog read E0. This line of code reads the analog input from E0 pin and stores it in the input value variable for further processing. Next, we use the serial print line code to print the value of the input value variable to the serial monitor. This allows us to see the analog values being read from the potentiometer in real time. Finally, we introduce a 10 millisecond delay using the delay function. This brief pause helps stabilize the readings and ensures the serial monitor isn't flooded with too much data at once. Let's start the simulation and open the serial monitor to observe the real-time information being read from the potentiometer. As we move the potentiometer, we can read values ranging from 0 to 1023 on the serial monitor. These values represent the analog voltage levels, with 0 corresponding to 0 volts and 1023 corresponding to 5 volts. Let's take a look at the more comprehensive example we've prepared to solidify the topic. First, we connected the 5-volt power supply and the ground wire to the appropriate rows on the breadboard. Next, we connected the 5-volt power supply to the left terminal of the potentiometer and the ground wire to the right terminal. From the middle terminal of the potentiometer, we connected it to the Arduino's analog as 0 input pin. We positioned 4 LEDs on the breadboard and connected each of them with 330 ohm resistors, identified by their orange, and brown color bands. The red LED is connected to digital pin 2 of the Arduino, the yellow LED to pin 3, the green LED to pin 4, and the white LED to pin 5. These connections allow the Arduino to control each LED individually. The ground connections for all the LEDs are taken from the common ground line on the breadboard. This common ground provides a proper return path for the current flow through all the LEDs. Let's take a look at the code. First, we define variables for the pins to which the LEDs are connected and assign the corresponding pin numbers. This allows us to easily reference each LED by its associated pin in the code. Since the red LED is connected to pin 2, its value is set to 2, the variable for the yellow LED is assigned a value of 3, the green LED is set to 4, and the variable for the white LED is defined with a value of 5. We defined an integer type variable named input value to store the value read from the potentiometer. In the setup section, we configured a 0 analog pin as an input to read the potentiometer values, and we defined the pins connected to the LEDs as outputs to control them accordingly. Next, we initiated serial communication and set the baud rate to 9600, allowing us to send and monitor data from the Arduino to the computer through the serial monitor. In the loop section, the analog read function is used to read the data from the A0 pin, and this value is stored in the input value variable. To display the stored information on the serial monitor, the value held in the input value variable is printed to the screen using the serial print line function. Now, we will use if-else-if control structures to determine which LEDs will light up based on the values read from the analog input. If the value of the input value variable is less than or equal to 200, we set the pin connected to the red LED to high and set the remaining pins to low. In the else-if block, if the input value is not less than or equal to 200, we then check if it is less than or equal to 400. If this condition is met, we set the yellow LED to turn on by setting its pin to high while keeping the remaining pins set to low. Similarly, if the input value is less than or equal to 600, we turn on the green LED by setting its pin to high while setting the remaining pins to low. In the next else-if block, if the input value is less than or equal to 800 but greater than 600, we turn on the white LED by setting its pin to high while keeping the remaining pins set to low. In the final else statement, we set all the pins connected to the LEDs to high, ensuring that all the LEDs turn on when the input value is greater than 800. This means if none of the previous conditions are met, all the LEDs will light up. Afterward, we use the delay function to create a 100 millisecond delay, adding a brief pause between each loop cycle to avoid overly rapid changes in the LED states. Since the program is quite detailed, not all the code can be viewed on a single page. We'll scroll through the page to bring the earlier parts of the code into view. Now, let's run the simulation and observe the program in action. In the meantime, we can open the serial monitor to see the values. Currently, the resistance is close to 0, and a value of 1003 is being displayed. When we move the knob a little further, the resistance drops to 0, and a value of 1023 appears on the serial monitor. This means 5 volts are reaching the potentiometer, and 5 volts are coming out from it. In this case, we are obtaining the maximum value of 1023, which corresponds to the 5 volts output from the potentiometer. As we adjust the potentiometer, the voltage output from the middle pin decreases because the resistance is increasing. This change in resistance affects the voltage division, resulting in a lower voltage being read by the Arduino. We currently see a value of 511, which is greater than 400 and less than 600. Therefore, the green LED is defined as high in the code, while the others are set to low. When we move the potentiometer a bit more, we see a value of 143 and the red LED lights up. In fact, when we turn the potentiometer all the way to the end, we see a value of 0 and the red LED continues to stay on because we are still dealing with a value less than 200. When we reduce the resistance, the LEDs light up based on the conditions specified in the if-else blocks. Since the value of 675 is greater than 600 and less than 800, the white LED is set to high while the rest is set to low. When we increase the value to 1023, we can see that all the LEDs are lit. This is because we set the code to turn on all the LEDs for any value above 800. Now let's examine the physical operation of the application. Based on the current position of the potentiometer, we see 1023 on serial monitor and all the LEDs are lit. We are slowly turning the potentiometer's knob. When it drops below 800, we see that only the white LED is on. The value is currently around 700 and the white LED is lit. Let's turn the knob a little more. The green LED is lit because the reading has fallen below 600. 505 will keep the green LED lit in the same way. Let's lower it a bit more. As soon as we went under 400, the yellow LED began to glow. We stopped at 302 and the yellow LED is still lit. As we rotate the knob further, the red LED turns on according to the next condition. We are currently seeing 113 on the serial monitor, so the red LED will light up in any situation where the value is below 200. As we begin rotating the knob in reverse, the LEDs will turn on based on the values defined in the if-else statements. We've reached the end of this lesson where we focused on how to practically use analog values. Best of luck in your work!